All right, brother, let's see what is cooking here. Let's set you up with some macros. So I know this can be confusing. I'm going to do my best. Actually, I haven't even fully read your message yet, so I'm going in blind for this video. But yeah, going to go through and give you some customized macros that you can start with, and I'll give you as much information as I can around why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, and what to expect as far as, you know, potential changes down the road and whatnot, just so you can do that on your own. And obviously, if you have any questions in the future, literally just send me a message and I'm happy to help you. But let's start with this. So 232 current body weight and 215 is goal body weight. So we're looking at 17 pounds. So let's start with that. So 17 years, 17 pound weight loss goal. So 232 to 215. Keep as much muscle mass as possible, getting leaner. Yes, of course. That should be everyone's goal. Goal body weight doesn't matter to me how much I look. Okay, this is very, very good, and I'm glad that you said that. So we'll add that in here. So body comp, more important than weight. So this is crucial because, and this is similar to like the approach that I just took with my 12-week fat loss, because I saw some pretty consistent weight loss, but I also had several weeks where there was very little to no movement on the scale. But I could just, every morning I was waking up, I was like, damn, I'm getting leaner, like every 24 to 48 hours. Like, this is crazy. So I knew that I was getting leaner. So that's important, because I was like, I don't actually care what weight I am. I just know what look and feel I'm going for from a body composition standpoint. So that's why, like, sometimes people will make these goal body weight targets, which is great, but I find like they're very loose at the start. They should be very loose at the start. So for you, the 215 goal, loose, right? Once you get to, say, good example, 220, then you will know a lot better, because you might get to 220. This happens actually for a lot of people. You might get to 220 and be like, oh, I'm not nearly as lean as I thought I'd be at 220. So then you're like, I don't think 215 is it. I think I'm going to need at least 210. Not saying that for sure, but that is common, and you will only know that once you get closer. That's the whole point. So you won't know that right now necessarily at 232. So 215, kind of the tentative goal, and then as you get closer, you'll really start to know a lot better. So anyways, train 6 times a week. Okay. I don't love that, but again, it's going to depend what you do and what your split is. Lately doing fasted cardio in the mornings, cardio at night. Okay, it's a lot of cardio. Fasted both times. Okay. Down 13. Oh, okay, this is good to know. Down 13 pounds so far. So what you're doing is working to some extent, which is great. You're just looking to optimize here. So doing heavier weight sessions until failure, close to. Excellent. Just want to start counting my macros so I don't overeat or undereat. Yep. And make sure you're getting enough fiber, protein, things like that. The kid's looking like a bag of milk lately, so I need to change that. Yeah, life's too short to look like a bag of milk, dude. Why would you not want to look awesome? Because if you look awesome, you typically feel awesome. At least I can speak to my own experience. The better I look, the better I feel. The better I feel, the better I look. Work synergistically, symbiotically, one might say. Okay, so train 6 times per week. I'll just make a note here, dude, that, like, I'll just tell you here, 4 times a week is probably a sweet spot for most people. 3's solid. 4, just on average, I think, is a sweet spot. 6 times is a lot, like 1 rest day. If you are truly going until failure or close to it, then 6 times a week, again, this depends on your split. So you could have a split that this could work for. So if you want me to have a look over this, I'm happy to do a video and do a little program audit for you. But without any other information, I don't really know. But typically in most situations, 6 times a week isn't actually helping you. I would prefer to focus on 3 to 4 times per week, 45 to 60-minute sessions. Keep the intensity up, so failure or close to it, and then probably less volume. You might need a more intelligent training split, and then just focus on cardio/steps for the other days, combined with nutrition, right? And you're good to go. So all that said. So yeah, if you want a program audit, just send me a message and I will do that for you. So macros. Okay, so 232. So here's how I would start this. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of maths here. Now I wish I had a screen recording for this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go 232. So that's current goal weight. So 232, and let's do 14 to start, because I don't think you don't have your macros set at all right now, right? So this is just going to be a starting point. So 232 times 14, this is one of the simplest formulas that I like. That's going to take us to 3,200 calories. Now, I don't know how much you're moving for work on top of this. I'm assuming not much because you didn't mention anything. So we're just going to go by training and cardio here, and then just assume you're mildly moving other than that. Just, you know what I mean? Not like, I'm assuming you don't have a physical labor job for this. So, because that would change things. So 232 pounds times 14. It's one of my simple go-tos. So that's 3248. I don't like that. I think we should be more aggressive. So what I'll do is, and that isn't very aggressive. What's more aggressive is closer to 12. There we go. So 232 times 12 equals 2784. So I like this a lot more. This is to find our total calories, by the way. So this is where we start. So I guess I should make a note on that. So total cals. Okay. I think that's probably a good place to start for you. Maybe 2,500, depending on how aggressive you want to go. But yeah, based on that body weight, 2,784 to 2,800 is going to be good. So let's go with that anyway. Okay, you're going to be hungry on this, likely, right? If you're consistent with the cardio side of things, in the total steps, which is like big focus with my coaching. You can do that using cardio. It doesn't really matter. There's nothing magic about the fasted cardio at all. The key is that you're keeping output high. So I like tracking steps because it's simple, it's easy, it's low intensity, it's low effort. It's very easy to be sustainable with it every day. If you like running, if you like elliptical, if you like bike, if you like rowing, if you like swimming, doesn't matter. It all does the same thing in regards to fat loss. In regards to general health, that's a totally different conversation. Okay, so 2784. So let's go with that. 2784 total cals, okay? And then from there, now we're going to figure out macros, okay? So let's start with protein. So protein, we like around a gram per pound of lean body weight. So we'll assume that's going to be 215 to 220 or 210 to 220. So let's go on the high side of that because I like biasing towards a little bit on the high end. So let's go 220. So 220 times, well, it's here, 1 gram per pound of lean body weight. So you can use your weight loss target for that. That's what I do for most people. So that's going to be, let's just go with 220 grams. And we can fluctuate this up and down depending on what we need. But this is going to play a big part in keeping you fuller longer. And it's also going to play a big part in preserving muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit and losing body fat. Most people suck at this part. Okay, so that's protein. Protein's easy. So then let's set fat after this. I like to go protein, and then I like to set fat. So I guess we should, you know what, I'm going to label these because then we can put them into steps. Find total cals. Okay, so fat. So with fat, I like 25 to 30% of total calories. So total calories being 2784. Let's see what 25% does. Whoa, hang on. 2784 times 25%. That gives us 696. So I'm going to do the math here because we want to have a record of all this so anyone can copy this, whoever sees this video, and also for yourself, you can come back to this. 2784 times 25%. That gives us 696 cals. 696 divided by 9. Why 9? Because there's 9 calories per gram of fat. So that's how we figure out how many grams. So 696 divided by 9. That gives us 77 grams of fat. Ba-boom. Simple. Now, we may have to adjust this, but this gives us starting points. That's the point, right? Step number 4. Carbs. Okay. So with carbs, we basically, we only have 3 macros, right? Protein, fat, carbs. So this is the last one. So with carbs, you really have whatever's left over. So what I do is this. So protein cals, we want to figure out what that is. So 200, we know it's 220 grams, right? You go up to step 2 there. 220 grams. There's 4 calories per gram in protein. So times 4, that gives us 880 cals. Fat cals, we see it right up there in step 3, the one before. 696 cals. So let's figure out what cals we have left over, right? So 880 plus 696, that's 1576, right? 1576 cals combined. Leftover cals for carbs. So what we'll do is we'll take our total cals, right? 2784, always coming back to that, minus the total here of protein and fat, which is 1576. That gives us 1208. Now it's probably on the high end, right? So so let me do that step for us. So leftover for carbs. I guess I should do this. So I just want to make sure every step's written down here. So 27,884 total cals minus 1576 equals 1208. Okay, so 1208 cals. Now if we do that, that's what's left for carbs, potentially. So if we divide that by 4, because it's 4 calories per gram in a carb, so 1208 cals divided by 4 equals 302 grams of carbs. Okay, so that means protein, right now, we're just going to do a quick tally here of what we got so far. And again, once we have this, then we can make adjustments if we need to. So 77 grams, and then carb, 302 grams. Okay, so that's what you're looking at for your current split right now. Capisci? So this looks fine. Now, what you can do is this, right? The cool part about this. We could flex protein a bit. I think this is within 5 to 10 grams of where you should be for sure. Fat and carbs have a lot more flexibility depending on the person. For me, I do a little better, not off higher fat, but I do a little bit better off like medium fat. So for me, 75 to 85 is like sweet spot. And then whatever the carbs end up being. So for me, I don't need a ton of carbs. Like I don't even enjoy a ton of carbs. I just like some carbs. So I would do better off like, actually this might work fine for me because I'm actually kind of near here right now, to be honest. Yeah, this is pretty close to mine. But for someone who does a lot better with a lot higher fat, they might do like 80 or 90 grams of fat and then decrease their carbs to 240, 250, 260, whatever, right? So the total calories are still the same, but they just flex the ratio of fat and carbs. But this is a great place to start. And then I would recommend keeping protein the same. So what you'll do now is download Chronometer. You could use another app as well. I know MyFitnessPal is popular, but I like Chronometer better. Download Chronometer app on your phone. You can use it on desktop as well. And then input, and I have videos for this, by the way, so feel free to DM me for that because I have videos that I show my clients how to set all this up. Input macro targets into settings, and away you go. Just make sure you turn net carbs off. Don't have that on. But yeah, dude, this is what you need. Now what you'll do is you'll set this, you'll follow it every single day. If you use the macro-intuitive approach like I use with myself and with my clients, then you will you'll leave 2 meals for like intuitive untracked meals. So those are meals that you don't even track at all in your macros. If you have questions on how to do that, I'm happy to explain it further. But it's really like, it's what the industry calls cheat meals, but they're not. That's not the way I do them. They're not cheat meals. They're untracked meals. Like they're literally part of the program. They're part of the process because they help us develop the intuitive eating skills and the habits required for sustainable eating long term. Because you're not going to track macros and eat a meal plan for the rest of your life. So you got to learn these skills somehow. So this is a great blend of like follow the macros perfectly to a T. Literally within 1 to 2 grams. That's what I tell my clients. Within 1 to 2 grams of each target. So 218 to 222 for protein, 75 to 79 for fat, and 300 to 304 for carbs. That's where you should be every single day, except for the 2 days where you have a meal on each one for the untracked meals. I call them free meals or untracked meals. And that's great because it leaves room for like date night, restaurants, social events with friends, travel, whatever, right? And some people, depending on your work, like if you travel a lot, some of my clients, they can't do 2. We need to allot for 3 to 4 or maybe more some weeks. And that's fine, but you just have to have strategies for how to do that. And I got plenty of that. So if you have questions, let me know. But this is how to set macros. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. But yeah, you can go through these. It's literally just 4, kind of 5 steps, I guess. And then away you go, dude. But yeah, hopefully this helps. Let me know any follow-up questions you have on this.